Hey, welcome to my second video of Dr. Red Bull racing. This one's going to be focused on who's going to be Sebastian's teammate for the 2014 season. Now, yeah, there's a lot of conflicts going on actually within the Red Bull team. You've got Horner and probably the owner Demischitz. They want the best driver to be the number two guy. Number two has a bit naughty. To be the to partner Sebastian Vettel for next year. So if you look on the grid, who may be available, you've got Kimi Raikkonen and Fernando Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen, Lotus is a very good car these last couple of years, but it's not been a championship winning car. It's just not been quite there. It's not had the one that pace to be to be able to put in contention for the championship. So Kimi Raikkonen is a little bit insecure about his seat. Maybe he wants to leave and go somewhere else if he's serious about winning another championship. And then you got Fernando Alonso, went to Ferrari. Yes, very nice to drive Ferrari. It's lovely to drive there. But sadly, these last 3 years, as an honest F1 fan, the Ferrari's not been that good. It's probably been if you look at the rule change since '09, the Ferrari has probably been overall third best car, with Red Bull being one, McLaren being two. So the Ferrari has not lived up to expectations. I think in 2014 they'll definitely improve, that's for sure, due to the new regs. It's not all about aero, so I reckon Ferrari can improve. It's just whether they can get the engine right. If they get the engine right, I think they can be in serious contention. But that's a whole different issue. So these are the best drivers on the grid who are maybe considering moving somewhere else due to the foundations which they're in, because their car's not been that good these last few years, and they're not getting any younger, that's for sure. So they're the best drivers, and that's what Christian Horner wants. Christian Horner wants the best driver. At the end of the day, and people tend to forget this, everyone says a team, I'm not going to say Red Bull in particular, but a team wants two drivers who consistently scores points. Forget drivers' championship, because the Formula One teams do not get paid anything for having a world champion. It's just another trophy. It's just you can put it on your car. You can put it in your propaganda. But we've had a world championship, 09, 10, 11, 12. But the one what really matters for Formula One teams is the Constructors' Championship, which is the combination of the points of the two drivers, and that's what they get paid on. That's what pays for their car. Red Bull are a solvent team, despite the fact that they're run by a billionaire. Oh, that's rain. Sorry, I've got to walk in that in a minute. Ooh. I'm looking forward to that. Might get the bus. Get ripped off for £2.50. Anyway, slightly off topic. What was I talking about? Red Bull. It's the constructors. They get paid for that. That's what pays for the car. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Red Bull are a solvent team. They solely rely on what that Formula One team makes. So they don't get. It's not like Chelsea Football Club or Man City, where the owner directly puts money into the team. That's not the case. It's what Red Bull make within Formula One, and then within Formula One, the money they generate, they spend. Let's move that slightly. That's the money they make. So so it's all about constructors. So they're going to need two good drivers, and this is why Horner's a champion or canvassing for the best driver to come to Red Bull. So you got Alonso, and that's Kimi. So it's either one of those two. Another factor to consider, which I think will be a a testament to the 2014 car is that I think everybody knows there's a huge regulation change for the 2014 season. It's like I said, it's less about aero, it's all about the engine. So Adrian Newey's renowned. This guy should build aeroplanes. He's a genius in terms of aerodynamics. But sadly, in 2014, whether you think it's good or bad, aerodynamics is taking a step backwards. It's all about straight line speed. It's all about the engine power. It's all about renewable energy. And do you know what the biggest Red Bull problem is in the last 4 years? It's the KERS system. So, and 2014 there's a great emphasis on renewable energy, this KERS. I think next year it's going to be called ERS. Is that EERS, ERS? And basically it's 14 seconds of KERS energy which you can use in a single lap. I think right now it's 6 or 7. So it's going to be doubled for next year. And KERS is that powerful, or ERS, what it's going to be called. It's so powerful and prominent within an F1 car that you don't have to press the button anymore. It's just within the accelerator. So when you accelerate, the ERS or KERS, the way you want to use it, is deployed automatically. So it's something to do with the driver. There's no special button where you can use it out of turn 8 or whatever. It's automatically deployed. So next year, Red Bull are not exactly renowned to like KERS, and they get the most KERS failures in the last 4 years or so. So they're not particularly keen on that. All right, next year it's a bit about saving fuel. I do admit, I'll hold hands up, the Renault are very good at saving its fuel. They are good at that. But ultimately speaking, when you look at what is being shaped for the 2014 season, I do worry about Red Bull's car, whether they're going to have a race-winning car. I think we're going to go back to the stage of 2012 where they started when they didn't have anything. There was like 8/10 of the pace of one lap pace, and but maybe they can adapt to it. Who knows? But anyway, so this is the problems of 2014, and if Red Bull are going to win the Constructors' Championship, which ultimately gives them the funding, they're going to need a good driver to partner with Vettel. And at the moment it's either Alonso or Kimi. They're going to need a good driver to partner with Vettel for next year. And I think the person they're going to sign is going to give away the 2014 car. Because let's not forget, right now as we speak, all teams are focusing on the 2014 car. If you remember Braun in 08, or Honda, they gave up their car like 6th race in, and they focused on the next car the following year because there's a huge regulation change, just like there is now next year. So they gave up on that car, and then they ultimately won the championship. Fair play to Ross Brawn and Button. That was a good season. So next year we've got this big rule change, and I think the person they sign is ultimately going to tell what sort of car they're going to have. Now allow me to explain a bit further. If they sign Danny Ricciardo, who I think is a good driver, could potentially be the best driver on the grid. Well, potentially, I use that word with great confidence. I'm not saying he's the best driver on the grid, but he has the potential to be the best driver. But we'll only know that until he's in a good car. Toro Rosso is not that great. If they sign Danny Ricciardo, then they must be super confident in 2014 that they're going to have a good car. If they're sort of, we don't know, we're not sure, then we will sign Kimi. They will sign Kimi Raikkonen. And if they sign Fernando Alonso, then this is when my alarm bells start ringing, and I go, "Oh bugger! They must be in serious trouble for the 2014 car. They must not. They must not have any ideas and no innovations. The engine might not be that good, so they might be scratching their heads, and then they'll sign Fernando Alonso. And if you sign Fernando Alonso, that suggests to me, because Fernando Alonso is probably the best driver on the grid right now, and his main quality is to extract that little bit more out of the car. He does do that, and he's proved that for Ferrari. Look at 2012. That car wasn't great, man, but he drove some great races, as did Vettel in the first half. But if you got those two, the combination, who I think are the best drivers in Formula 1, Alonso and Vettel, then anything is possible. And I think if they sign him, Alonso, because they've had meetings with him, then that would suggest to me that they're a bit insecure about the 2014 regs, and translating those regulations to their 2014 car, the RB10 it will be. So yes, and I might be a little bit insecure about that. My personal opinion, who I want, forgetting all the rubbish, I would love to have Alonso in Red Bull. I like good racing within teammates. I like a good team battle. I'm a big Red Bull fan. I'm a big Vettel fan. But ultimately, I enjoy a good team battle. I love getting up, watching practice sessions, watching qualifying, watching a race. And I like watching the inter-team battles. Who's doing what? The best one right now is with City and Di Resta. They are so neck and neck at the moment, and I really enjoy watching practice, qualifying, race, where each other, where everybody's at when they race each other. I feel with Mark Webber, he's only good for like 3 or 4 weekends where he's on the pace of Vettel. And I don't believe in the bullshit that he gets the better car, Vettel gets the better car, he gets the extra stuff. I don't believe in that rubbish. I just think he's been too inconsistent. It's not to knock Webber, because I know he's a good driver. He had a chance at Ferrari. I think he should be at Ferrari right now. I think Massa should go. I think he should be at Ferrari. Forget Porsche, that's rubbish. He should be at Ferrari right now, Webber. But when he's racing against Vettel, he's not. He just there's only 1 or 2 weekends where he's doing all right, and it's not. It's just a shame, because he is a good driver, but for some reason he's just not consistent. So these last 2 or 3 years, I've been watching Red Bull. There could be you could have a better teammate, and I think with Alonso, even if Alonso trounced Vettel, if he beats him by 30 points, wins the championship, I'll just hold my hands up and go, well done Alonso, that's great, that's awesome. It's your debut season in debut season, new team, brilliant. You drove well, really well done. But that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see within the team, and I want it to be fair too. And I'm sure it would be fair. So ultimately, I would love to see Alonso, and then I would love to see Kimi as my second choice. Kimi is just as good as Alonso. He's a bit of an enigma, so you never know what you're going to get from him. As most geniuses are, they're enigmas. So I would love to see both of them in the team. Either the two, either Alonso or Kimi. I really don't want to see Ricciardo. And this goes back to what I said at the start. There's a bit of a conflict within the team. Dr. Helmut Marko, I think that's the first time I've mentioned him. He's got his young drivers program, and he wants to draft in one of these rookies, because there are rookies, Della Costa, whatever he's called, and Ricciardo of he wants one of those three in the car. He definitely wants one of those three, and he'll do anything, no matter how good Kimi or Alonso is. He wants one of these boys in, and whether that will happen or not, I don't know. Because, like I said about 2014 with the huge reg change, if they're going to win the Constructors' Championship next year, then they're going to need the most strongest lineup possible, and that's only relevant if they've got a bad car. So this goes back to what I was saying, that the teammate for Vettel will only, well, say to me, illuminate that they're going to have a bad car next year. So if they get someone like Alonso who gets you 50, maybe let's say 75 points more than the car really should in the season, then they're going to get Alonso. They've got the money, they can pay for him. They can pay for his £30 million contract. And, with the sponsors he brings in, that will probably cover the loss of his extraordinary wages. So I think ultimately, anyway, whoever will be Vettel's teammate next year will tell you how good next year's car will be also. I'm just going to wrap up with this last point.